How can your homeboy invade? You're against murder. The man, the Khashoggi, whoever he did, y'all cut him up in pieces and put him in a box or something. Whatever you put him in, nobody knows. You just cut the man up. They can do it because he's your friend. Your friend. Y'all can do that. But Mr. Putin, and see, the message is getting out like, wait a minute. First of all, Americans and people in the West think of World War II as D-Day and Normandy. And by D-Day, by the time they were about 44, it was about 20 million Russians already dead, or 25 million is already dead from that same war. Yeah, you know. And everybody, I'm telling you, I knew the date, I knew all that all along. June the 6th, 1944. 18,000 ships. Some say 20,000, 25,000. But it was D-Day. You could have brought a Russian right up, set him right down there, and we would have had no idea that they was the one that knocked the Germans over. Nobody told us. We didn't have no sense. We just didn't have no sense. And I thought I was a petty historian. I could recite all that dumb stuff. You wouldn't believe it, but I would be hanging on a corner in 1962. You know, we're drinking wine, and I'd be 17. Do y'all know what today is? And the niggas would say, yeah, it's wine day. Hey, it's Greystone Day. You know, it's WPLJ Day, White Port Lemon Juice. That's what we used to drink, white port wine. You pour it out a little bit, or you kill the poison. That means you drink some of the wine out. And you know those little cans, 6-ounce cans of lemon juice? You pour it in there. WPLJ, they call it, white port lemon juice. If you saw the movie Panther, the earlier one, when the guy is sitting right on the basketball court and he has a bottle of wine and he's pouring out the poison. That's the wine. That's what he's doing. Look at the movie again. He's pouring it out. That's the custom of those days. White port lemon juice. It really tastes really good wine, really make it feel so fine. Of course, it was rot gut wine. It was cheap wine. Hell, it was 50 or 60, 80 cents for a fifth or something. It was cheap wine. One time the police asked me, do you drink cheap wine? I said, no, man, I be drinking Greystone. The cheapest wine they have. I'm telling you. Anyway, but we all knew. No, the Negroes didn't know. I'm the only one there out of everybody that know something about our history. The other Negroes, they had no, what is wrong with Hank? Y'all know what the Luftwaffe is? I called it the Luftpapa, not the Luftwaffe. I didn't know, you can't hear good. And in fact, one of my cars, it was a big old 54 Buick. Ooh. Yeah, I used to call it the Luftpapa. I didn't have any idea. The Luftwaffe. But anyway, thanks for growing up. Just think if you get killed early in the struggle, technically you don't know nothing. You don't even know what time it is. You don't have, our people got killed like that way back when. That's why longevity, okay, China like us had more time, longevity. Book of documents, that's one. Instructions for practical living, guides for better living. Records of the grand historian. Have anybody seen any words like that? Documentalist, stuff like that. I'm telling you, it's like we wrote it. That's what it sounds like when I watch that stuff. All that is celebrating where we was already at. It's kind of like verifying. It is verifying. And this is their 100th cycle of going through this. And it's our 4th, 5th cycle, but one cycle you get to gain. So I've been through this before. That's why if you watch some of those programs, the recorders of history were the most, they did more crying. The guy that lost his son and all that, they did more crying than in the Art of War and all of that. They was really sad on that. That means that they got a chance. They got a chance to pull. China has a chance. We have to help as much as we can to help straighten out any little funny stuff that slip up on them. But they got big so fast. For them to act like they're acting now mean that they done picked up on a lot of that. And then the leadership got enough sense to not say the Communist Party did this, we that. No, they bring in everybody, right? We didn't just get here last week, right? Even Chairman Mao is a nice guy, but he studied all of these people, right? They're smart. You can't say they're not smart. And you would have to say, as a nation, they was guided through that experience, which was not counter or anti-Islamic. It was not. It was all, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like, because if you listen, has anybody listened to any of the great Native American speakers that talk about their religion? All of them talk about, you think they're talking about Imam Mahdi, or you talk so-and-so, he was going to come, he came, we do the certain dance to celebrate, da-da-da-da-da. So will I be doggone. That's when that all that stuff about other prophets and messengers, because the way they describe them is the same way we describe him. The great messenger, the Holy Spirit, Wonka Tonka, is sending a guide to da-da-da-da-da. Is that right? So everybody, that with the whole historical process going on, shoot, that 120,000 is an easy number, right? It's an easy number to reach. At first it sounds like, that's a lot of folks coming. But when you look at the whole world, because it wasn't a nation that didn't get them, how could it wouldn't even be fair if the Chinese got guides and the American Indians didn't get no guides. And the guides say the same doggone thing against oppression. Have ideas. Okay. Living record, grand story. The Art of War, Confucius, Tao Te Ching, the Buddha, to end suffering, you know. They focus on certain things, but so they made a god out of Buddha, that's all. Buddha ain't never, go ahead. Right. Yeah. No. Uh, that was a little ways off. But these people are so similar that another person, it wouldn't be Johnny Jones, but it'd be the Muga Juga brother. You know what I mean? That did the same thing. You know what I mean? Because remember, you look at all of them. We just happen to be all of a sudden we done got sprung on China because of these things. And we said, man, look at this, what they're saying. Well, all the people's history is like that. That's why the number technically is small. If everybody over here had someone coming, and if everything they built over here, that big stuff, was perfectly aligned up from over there in Egypt to over here, is perfectly lined up with, hey man, there's something going on. My son had a dumb teacher. I took him to Mexico to visit the pyramids. They have pictures of the pyramids in Mexico and all that. And so my son would mention everything that we'd talk about when he'd be in class, if he ever went, once in a while. So my son was telling the teacher, yeah, we just came back from the pyramids in Mexico. And the teacher told him, there's no pyramids in Mexico. So my son was telling him, it looks like a pyramid to me. You know, the guy didn't even know. He's a teacher. He's a teacher. He don't know his pyramids in Mexico. But anyway, let me speed up. We don't want to be here all night. Okay. Those things, the art of war, that was several books on war, but that seems to be the most famous. And you know, when we use tactics, when we read the art of war and we look at it, we say, man, we've been doing that a long time. You know, get with Boss Man. Okay. Strategic depth now is outlined for implementation. Well, we'll talk about it as we go along. But we'll be writing about this stuff and talking about it and doing it. Carve out specific space for Negroes. Now, carve out specific. Where are we going to fit in all of this? And this goes back to what we talked about getting around and speaking at black colleges and what have you, you know. After we saw the movie, we've been doing it for 1,000 years, you know, about our brother that was killed in Chicago, Fred Hampton. I gave a lot of speeches with his son, Chairman Fred. Remember his mother was pregnant? Okay, the guy that came out, they called him Chairman Fred, and he goes around and gives speeches and what have you. He's doing all right but the evolution, you know, he's stuck where his father was at that time. He's there. And that's not a bad place to be, but everybody that's even just doing good is still stuck. They're not like they're not on a rocket ship. They're not moving with the tide. Okay, but anyway, let me, this carve out specific space for Negroes. That includes, if you look around here now, everything physically is done by Latinos. If you look at the trucks right there, them trucks is getting bigger and tougher, badder. Okay, they're doing what they're supposed to, come here and get big, okay? Now, that mean all that type of work that's been going on, the Negro was groomed for that decades ago, but he got lazy, but now there's a spot for us. And this is not racism, but there's a spot for us. Where can we organize our people? The same place we came to last year. Number one is the institutions at hand. We're already moving in that direction. As teachers, as police officers, gun carrying, police badge wearing police officers. The institutions in America, all the people, the Filipinos, everybody that come here, They lock into stuff. You can see the Orientals got